Welcome back, everyone. For those who are coming in, please note that in the chat, I will send it one more time. You can view the live transcription for today's event. Again, the chat, if you were not here for the beginning sessions today, the chat will come directly to hosts. It is not global. If you need technical assistance or have questions that are related to access needs, please put that in the chat. If you have questions about the presentation, either presentations in the from this morning from our wonderful friend Marla, or from the Library for the Blind and Print Disabled, please put them in the Q&A. Okay. All right. So welcome back, everyone. I hope you had a decent lunch. I've got my coffee here because, gotta keep that energy level up. For those who I haven't met, my name is Ashley Biggs. I am the Marketing and Outreach Librarian for the Maryland State Library for the Blind and Print Disabled. And again, I want to emphasize that if you are coming to this presentation and you did not go to the one this morning, Marla's presentation will be recorded and made available on our website. The presentation from the Library for the Blind and Print Disabled will be available on the website. I have that website currently pulled up on the screen. The Dyslexia Summit website does have, if you scroll down, you will see our program partners. That will be the Maryland State Department of Education, the Friends of the Maryland State Library for the Blind and Print Disabled, the International Dyslexic Association, Maryland and DC chapters, Marla Migdal Consulting, Drs. Eide from the Dyslexic Advantage, and the Maryland Deaf Culture Digital Library. As you scroll down under the event schedule, you will see all the slides from the various presentations. They are screen reader and assistive technology accessible. There will be an additional link after the presentations today. In the coming weeks, it will be posted on this website where you can go to individual presentations. If you continue to scroll down to the bottom, you will see additional information here. The reason I'm pointing this out is because when we get to Jerry's presentation, he has created for you a handout, a guide on assistive technology. And I wanted to make sure that everyone knew where it was. It is at the bottom of the page, yes, but it is not because it is unimportant. It is there because that is where SharePoint let me put it. And SharePoint, if you do websites, you understand SharePoint being nuts. But there is an assistive technology handout there for you, and we encourage you to go through that. Just to recap, our presentation from this morning was from Marla. Marla is talked about comorbidities and challenges with dyslexia. That means individuals who are cross-diagnosed with ADHD, autism, hyperlexia, dysgraphia, and so much more. We also talked about the importance of individuals in marginalized communities being underdiagnosed. That means individuals from all walks of life, including those who are visually or physically impaired, to individuals who are deaf and hard of hearing, to individuals who are persons of marginalized backgrounds. So I'm going to encourage you to go back and go through her presentation. And then we followed that up with a talk from the Library for the Blind. Again, I want to emphasize every state has a library like ours, and that we are here to provide services to the dyslexic communities across the country. Here in Maryland, we offer additional services such as textbooks and assistive technology training, which is where Jerry's going to shine. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and pull up Jerry's bio so I can read it. I am very excited to introduce my colleague, Jerry Price. Jerry Price has been a dear friend of mine and a colleague for nearly 10 years. He's been here a lot longer than that. Jerry has been part of the Maryland State Library for the Blind nearly 20 years. Close to what, 19 years, Jerry? 18, 19 years?
Next week, 19.
19 years. In his time here, he has taught and continues to teach one-on-one training classes for blind and low vision patrons, and he teaches them how to use certain assistive technology. That's going to be screen readers, and he's going to talk about the importance of screen readers and assistive technology today for people with dyslexia. He also talks about and hosts a technology user group that anybody can attend. And they talk about various assistive technologies, um, and things, and sometimes it's apps that you don't expect to be accessible, or how to navigate an app that isn't. So he talks about that, and he brings in individuals from across the globe to talk about the importance of access, technologically speaking. He is a in-demand speaker. I'm going to tell you that. He is always on the road. And he has been awarded the Pride Award by the Maryland State Department of Education. And in the last few years, he was actually also named a digital equity champion by Marylanders Online. Again, Marylanders Online is a great resource for assistive technology for individuals with disabilities. They work to advocate equal access to resources. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Jerry. And as you were coming in, please note that in the chat, you can access a live transcription. Take it away, Jerry.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I appreciate everyone coming out today, especially after lunch. I have the after lunch slot, which means if I talk really slow and in a monotone, half of you will be asleep by 1:30. But I'm not going to do that. I'll be nice. But I do want to thank you all for coming out and wanting to get some knowledge about assistive technology. I really encourage all of you to look at the resource guide because there are a lot of resources on there. And as we have talked about and as you have experienced, there is no one size fits all solution to any type of technology issue that an individual may be having. And different people like different things for different reasons. So I encourage you to look at that list and try to experiment with some of the assistive technology that's on there because it really can be pretty tricky sometimes. Now, my role at the Maryland State Library for the Blind and Print Disabled is that I am the Assistive Technology Education Program Coordinator. And when we say education coordinator, it also means that I have volunteers that help out with the many requests that we have for assistive technology, mainly screen reading software such as JAWS for the computer and VoiceOver for iPhone. Those are the two major areas of education that's going on right now that are requested. There are other things that we can teach amongst my crew, but those are the ones that are most prevalent at the moment. There's a little bit working with these e-readers, working with helping people to set up our new digital talking book players and that kind of stuff. But for the most part, JAWS and VoiceOver. All right, so moving on. We talked about earlier today, Ashley had mentioned about the e-readers, the NLS e-readers. I'm just letting you guys know that that's exactly what I'm using here with my notes. It looks like this, if you can see that. What's great about the e-reader is that you can put information that is text documents or even PDFs on it, and it's going to, you can be able to access it from a Braille perspective. So that helps for me because this particular presentation is in docs, and that's what I'm kind of reading off of. LBPD is here for Maryland residents with print disabilities, including dyslexia. Services are free, and you can get books in audio, Braille, and digital formats. We offer college textbooks, Bookshare, and NFB Newsline at no cost. As an aside, the Bookshare and NFB Newsline are also accessible through this handy e-reader. So it means that I can have a lot of material at my fingertips without having to use the computer or go look for other ways of accessing it. We also provide assistive technology training and a monthly call focused on assistive technology, with Ashley mentioned. The recently, the technology user group, as we call it, meets on the second Saturday of the month, generally from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. As Ashley said, it's a Zoom meeting, so anyone can attend. We've had some pretty interesting guests this year. In fact, this year is going to be very hard to top for 2026, but I'm working diligently to try to do that. We had Christine Ha come and talk about cooking as an individual who's blind. We had Rebecca Rosenberg come and talk about the Reboca app for low vision. We've had Bookshare come and talk about not only the Bookshare and what they're doing, but as their app and their Alexa skill that they also have. So Bookshare, much like our services, are available on a whole plethora of items. We also had a presentation which dealt with where to find technology help, questions, assistance, and resources. What to expect with iOS 26 and many other presentations. And like we had one per month, and working on the 2026 calendar now, and it's nearly complete. So it's one of those things where we have to kind of predict, or I have to kind of predict what's going to be the hot topic for 2026. So when you think about assistive technology or technology in general, it's really just for now technology, because, in a week, in a month, in a year, in 3 years, the technology is all different. The apps are different. The extensions are different. The operating system is different. So when we talk about technology, it's just basically the here and now, because that can change at any moment. And speaking of changes, one of the other things that I like to provide for our patrons is that we have a newsletter for novice tech users, because sometimes there's an assumption that people are going to know how to use a product, how to use a service, how to use a website, how to use an extension out of the box. And that just isn't the case. And you'll find that people will struggle with trying to implement different technologies because they never had to find an extension and put it into their browser, or they never had to set up various settings on an iDevice to make a particular app work the way it's supposed to work. So the newsletter kind of hopefully fills in that void of knowing what to do and when to do it and how to update and do all those types of things. So we do offer that. We also have programs and events that are geared toward those with print disabilities. If you are eligible, we will help you get connected to the resources you need. What assistive technology is. Assistive technology is anything, and I do mean anything, that helps someone access information or complete a task that might otherwise be difficult. It could be a piece of software like text-to-speech, or it could be a device like a scanner pen that reads text out loud. I would say it can even be a ruler if it helps you to read a line. So technology can come in all forms. The main point is that it makes learning and daily life more accessible. What assistive, what assistive technology is not, it is not cheating. It is about equity, not shortcuts. It is not limited to people with vision loss or having dyslexia. There are many tools designed for reading, writing, or organizing thoughts. It is not one size fits all. The right tool really depends on the person and their needs. What assistive technology can do for everyone. These tools are not only for students with IEPs or people with disabilities. A voice dictation app might help someone with dyslexia write an essay, but it also can help a busy parent send emails while juggling dinner and kids. When we design for accessibility in mind, everybody benefits. Some examples of assistive technology are browser tools. Yeah, browser tools, read and write for Chrome is one of them. It reads text out loud and highlights as it goes. These type of extensions, there are variables. Some extensions work with certain browsers. They may not work with all of them, so you got to be mindful of that when you're looking at extensions. But extensions can really help individuals read and write. We talk about Bookshare. It's a web-based huge library of ebooks free for eligible students. The Dyslexic Advantage, the revised edition and updated, that was going to be presented by the authors later and talking about by the authors today. If I were to go to Bookshare and look for that particular book, it is in stock. It is available in Daisy with images, Daisy text only, Braille, EPUB, and Word. So as you guys know, Bookshare is a handy resource. The audio for Bookshare, just as an aside, is I believe is the Kendra voice, which sounds a little bit like this. If this is on.
Kristen found learning to be a very personal, almost intimate experience. During her years in school,
All right. Kendra has a nice voice. But I'll talk about voices a little bit later on. Certain as you're reading for long periods of time, sometimes it helps to change up voices, which you kind of can't do with Bookshare, but you can do with other devices, such as an iDevice. So on the iDevice, speaking of iDevices, one of the apps that is highlighted is Voice Dream Reader. It lets you listen to PDFs and Word documents with high quality voices. Of course, the higher quality of the voice, they have incorporated AI voices now, and you gotta kind of pay a lot of money for those. So it makes listening more fun, but at the same time, very expensive. Android apps, Got It, G-H-O-T-I-T. It's a smart grammar and spell checker built especially for dyslexia. Hardware, the C-Pen reader. You slide it over print text and it reads it back to you. For a non-exhaustive list, let me speak English here for a little bit. For a non-exhaustive list, visit our Dyslexia Summit website. And there are a tremendous number of resources there So I hope that you will check that out. Not only are there an exhaustive list of resources, but there are the pros and cons associated with the various resources. So check that out. Factors that affect assistive technology, as I've kind of mentioned already, is the operating system. As you know, everybody's got to be switched over to iOS 26. We're being switched over to Windows 11. These changes in operating system are going to have an impact on some of the apps and resources that we use. What those effects are going to be, I guess we'll be finding out over the next coming weeks, but stay tuned for that. Browsers, different browsers access information in different ways. I know as a visually impaired person, I have probably 5 different browsers on my personal computer, because there are situations where you're going to come into a website and it's not going to read or be accessed the way you think it's going to be accessed. So sometimes Edge is great, sometimes Chrome is great, sometimes Firefox has its advantages. So having multiple ways of trying to access something is probably helpful. And of course, different versions are always popping up. You have free versions, you have paid versions. One of the common themes that you find for dyslexia tools is that if you want premium services, you're going to have to pay for those. And some of them are pretty expensive. They have a monthly charge. Some of them don't even offer a yearly option, so the monthly fee is what you have to pay, and it can be quite expensive. So it's one of the factors that you kind of have to consider when you're trying to find the right tool for your child, for your student, for yourself, is how much am I willing to pay for this? How to advocate for assistive technology. The key is to be specific. Show how the tool helps you do the job or complete schoolwork more effectively. At school, if your child has an IEP, make sure assistive technology is part of the conversation. Make sure it's written in the IEP, because if it's not, they don't have to do it. So that means audiobooks, it means text-to-speech tools, math apps and tools like ModMath. Of course, ModMath only works with iDevices, so that's one of those things to keep in mind. So there might be a situation if that is the resource that you want, the ModMath, then you need to have an iDevice along with it. Under the ADA, you can ask for reasonable accommodations. That could be a screen reader, dictation software, or getting training materials in an accessible format. So keep that in mind. One of the really cool apps that's out there, there's an iPhone version and an Android version, but they have different names. So the iPhone version is called Seeing AI. The Android version is called Lookout. And what this app can do, especially for not only the blind, but for people with dyslexia, is that it can read short text and handwriting. So one of the things that is constantly going on, as you guys know. Some text is harder to read than others, because if it's all cluttered together, that can make it challenging. If there are material in the background, sort of like a silhouette in the background, that can make reading challenges. So these tools like Seeing AI, like Lookout, can get through all that minutia and be able to read you what the text is without it being difficult to understand or process. So as I've talked about what is and isn't for assistive technology, technology is anything that helps someone access information, complete a task that might otherwise be difficult, that might otherwise be difficult. It is not cheating, it is equity, it is not a shortcut. Believe me, some of this stuff takes longer to utilize than making it a shortcut. It's not limited to people with vision loss. Tools are designed for reading and writing and organizing thoughts, and that might be an app. It might be the voice memo app that's in an iDevice is very good at not only recording your thoughts, but also taking that and translating it so that you have a translation of what you have just recorded, which you can then do with as you wish. Share it to your email, send it out to other people, all kinds of things that you can do with a voice memo anymore, and it's just getting better that way. Be sure, as always, to put these tools into an IEP. I can't emphasize that enough. It's got to be indicated, and like I said, certain tools come with certain devices, so the device also has to be incorporated in as far as in that IP. So, assistive technology at the library, you can learn more about what I do and the assistive technology that we offer by visiting the LBPD website, which is lbpd.maryland.gov. There is a section on there for the technology user group, which lists not only our upcoming schedule, but we have archived recordings of those presentations so that you can listen to them, or you can take those, you can ask your favorite smart device, whether that be an Alexa product, Siri, or Google Voice. You can ask it to play the Maryland State Library Agency podcast, and you will have access to the podcast of the programming that we have at the library, which could be the guest hour, could be a newsletter, it can be the technology user group. So lots of stuff going on there. As I mentioned before, technology is in general and assistive technology specifically, it's just a moment in time. So it's going to be changing, as you guys are well aware of, that AI is going to make its presence felt in the coming years, in the coming months, in the coming days. And so a lot of these tools that are out there are going to start incorporating it into what they do, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. I guess is up to the user, but it's going to be incorporated, and it's coming very, very soon. The resource list that we have provided does not really have that much AI-oriented tools on there. So just to give you the heads up on that, but it is coming. So since I have some time, let me just very quickly just sort of give a quick little demo of Seeing AI here. Open Seeing AI. Yeah.
Step 1, on the dials. B, to your personal combination. Step 6, put the zapper in the cap. D, step 3, on the
That's a
dials.
little fast. Let me slow this down.
Describe images. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, speaking rate. Words. Speaking of 0.45% PFP.
All right, let's try this again.
1. Lock tip. 2. Lock up. Step 1. P up, ma'am.
All right.
1:32 p.m. Status bar 2. Lock tip. Step 1. For die totes the tea premit coming. Step 2. Father on the chap tal. Step 1.
That doesn't sound too great, huh? Let's try this.
01300 anti-theft code lock. Using instructions. The original number is 000, and you can set your personal combination. 1. Setup. Step 1. Pat the dials at its original number is 000. Step 2.
There you go. So that's a kind of a little demo of Seeing AI. Seeing AI is kind of unique because it also has not only like we'll do handwriting and text without having to change the screen, but you can take pictures of documents and be able to save them and archive them and send them and share them and do all those types of things. But it has a currency reader built into it. It has a light perception kind of device, so you know whether the light's on or off, which is kind of handy. It does, you can look for people if you put it in there, or scenes and those kinds of things, kind of the LiDAR kind of technology that's becoming very popular now. So that's kind of what Seeing AI is all about. And so really, I guess this is basically the end of my presentation today. So if there are questions, comments, now I will say that I'm not real familiar with dyslexia. I did have a volunteer this past year. She was visually impaired. She was completely blind, and she did have dyslexia, and said it was kind of diagnosed kind of late. But fortunately, I guess for her, is that a lot of the technology that she had incorporated in her learning was auditory, so it wasn't quite as bad as it could be. But she did mention that she did have some struggles with reading and writing Braille. So she would get letters like E and I in Braille reversed, or R and W, which is can be a challenge sometimes. They like to give these cues of, I's go uphill and E's go downhill, but, that's doesn't always work if you're struggling with dyslexia. So again, if there's any questions, I'm sure that Ashley will direct them to me. If not, it's been a pleasure. I hope that you found this somewhat useful, and I really, really encourage you to check out that resource guide because it's going to answer a lot of questions.
Jerry, before you log off, I'm just going to drop the resource guide in the chat. I also put the technology user group and assistive technology page in the chat for everyone. There was one question during the presentation about the pen, the C reader pen. And I did answer it. There is a device called a C pen, and a C pen is a device that allows you to roll it over text, and it will read it to you. You can plug in on the more advanced models. You can plug in an earbud. I did have a version of that when I was in graduate school. It was not very good at the time. It is now really good. I want to encourage people here in Maryland to and in other states to check with their local public libraries. Libraries often offer a library of things where you can check out things like fishing poles and 3D printers. But some libraries, like in Anne Arundel County, Maryland, you can check out certain assistive technology, like C pens, free of charge. You get to borrow it for like 2 weeks and test it and see. Here in Maryland, we also have the Maryland Assistive Technology Program, where you can go and test certain assistive technology. I'm just going to highlight a couple of additional things that Jerry said, and I want everyone to use that question and answer or raise their hands if they have questions, and I'll unmute you. So of course, the Library for the Blind and Print Disabled, we provide assistive technology for reading, but there's also, like Jerry said, Chrome extensions. Speechify for Chrome is pretty good. I use Grammarly for everything. Captive Voice is pretty good. Those are extensions you can put on Chrome. Kurzweil is an excellent tool that you can put on your computer. A couple of apps. He mentioned Seeing AI. Jerry introduced this to me, God, when I got here, and it has changed my ability to access print at home, especially documents that are very tiny text. It reads it to me. So I want to highlight that. Mod Math is excellent. He mentioned that as well. But that list is non-exhaustive. And as Jerry said, assistive technology changes very rapidly. And when he put this list together, he was very cognizant of apps that have proven themselves to work for individuals across the spectrum. So please take some time to look through that list. Kathleen messaged and she said, can I post the list of extensions that you're talking about? Kathleen, I'm sending you a direct link to the PDF. It is also available in the chat. It is available on the Dyslexia Summit website as well. It is a non-exhaustive list. Jerry, I want to recap your presentation. Basically, assistive technology is here to help you. Please use it, right?
Absolutely.
And ask for it in your IEPs. If you have a student who needs assistive technology support, ask for it because the schools will do it.
Of course, the challenge is, and I understand this, is knowing what's out there. And so it's really kind of helpful. And I know this will probably come up later as we get into advocacy and that kind of thing. But it's really helpful to be a part of an organization or a group that focuses on a specific disability, just so you can stay current on what the latest technology is, because it's really hard to keep track of everything that's out there.
Very true. And also, if you are an adult with dyslexia or a specified learning disability that requires assistive technology, you can ask for reasonable accommodations at work, such as screen readers, Grammarly, individual, the C-Pen, if you need that. Those technologies can be made available to you. I'm opening the floor for questions. Please either drop them in the chat or raise your hand and I will unmute you. Okay. Well, again, I want to highlight the importance of assistive technology. I do, as a dyslexic, use it quite frequently myself, especially Grammarly. I also use a screen reader sometimes for long documents that I need to be able to navigate very quickly. Jerry, do you have any final thoughts?
Well, one of the things that I like to do, you're talking about long documents, or you're talking about reading books or reading magazines, and like say a Kindle magazine or something like that. One of the things that's really I find helpful is to have multiple languages in VoiceOver, so that when you get tired of one, it's easy to switch it to another. So it's just one of the tricks that I do to make long documents and novels and that kind of thing a little bit more interesting to listen to, because listening to the same voice hour after hour can be tedious.
So we did get a question about relisting the tools that are available. So again, there are so many. We just Jerry just highlighted like 2 or 3. The tools that he specifically highlighted were uh, tools for like seeing AI to read short text and handwriting. Read and write, a Chrome app that you can add. He talked about Bookshare. He talked about VoiceStream. He also talked about Got It, which is a grammar app for the Android. Got It is GH OTIT. So it is a weird spelling, but you know. The C Reader pen, the C Pen is a really good tool. Again, the list is non-exhaustive, but it is available on our website.
Renee has a question.
Yep. All right, Renee, let me unmute you. Give me 1 sec.
Hi, can you hear me?
We can.
Okay. Hey, Jerry Price.
Hi.
First, let me say you're amazing. I have never been in a presentation where somebody has presented. And this is I'm so glad I registered to take this summit. I did not expect to get all this terrific information. Having said that, 2 questions. One's kind of personal. What do you do to relax? It sounds like you stay busy all the time. So, first question, what do you do to relax? And second question, and if this is too personal, just tell me, how do you navigate from day to day to do all the multiple things that you do? Because I heard in Ashley's presentation you have a let me see, you have you facilitate a reading group, so you sound like you stay pretty busy. So how do you navigate day to day?
Well, I mean, I think that first of all, as far as what I like to do is I am a voracious reader.
Nice.
I read, and my wife does as well, but I read
Nice.
so far in 2025, I've read over 120 books.
Wow.
I'm also a huge sports enthusiast, so that's one of my longtime passions, and I've been through the whole gambit as far as vision loss goes. Where when I was growing up, when in college and that kind of stuff, I had some vision. It was kind of what they call traveling vision. So I think in some ways, having had vision in the past, it kind of gives you um, some perspective about how things are laid out. Sometimes if you never had vision before, it's hard to picture what certain things look like. Like a city block, or the way buildings are constructed and the multiple entrances and the things that they offer. That a lot of times you're just shown one way in, one way out. So. But I find that work is that I like to stay busy. As people know me at work, that they know that I'm constantly doing something. And I just enjoy what I do, which is probably helpful. And that's all I can say for anybody. If you have a job where you enjoy what you do, it's really not work then, right?
Mm, thank you.
You're welcome, Renee.
So Jerry, again, thank you so much for talking about assistive technology. I want to encourage everyone, regardless of where you are, to one, reach out to your local library for the blind and print disabled. I'm going to say that over and over and over. But also to visit our dyslexia website to get the full access of the PDF that has the assistive technology rundown. But you can also sign up for our newsletters here in Maryland, which will include Jerry's technology news letter that goes out quarterly, as well as the one-offs that he does where he'll host a special presentation. You'll get those technology user group announcements, and you can learn about various assistive technologies that would help everyone thrive. And again, it's really important to know that assistive technology is designed to provide access where access is not normally provided. And it is important to remember that there's from all walks of life, different modalities of information and how we get that. So just remember, if one piece of technology does not work for you right away, Jerry will tell you, don't give up, keep trying, and find the one that works for you. Okay. Any last minute questions from anybody before we take a quick 5-minute break in between now and our next presenter? Wonderful. We're going to take a few minutes. So grab a fresh cup of coffee, some orange juice for that quick sugar high. But we will be back in just a couple of minutes with our next presenter.